everyone, thanks so much for joining me. In this video we're going to cover chair pose, a really challenging pose, one of those. It gets the heart rate up really quickly, really effectively. I've noticed over the years that I tend to teach it in a way that may be different than you might have experienced it. I get that reaction a lot with my students. So it's just something to experiment with, explore. I keep the pelvis neutral rather than tucking. Okay, and I'll explain why, just in case that's something that you do more frequently in your chair pose, and just to explore. Okay, you might want a block or two, just depends. Straps can be helpful. I don't know that I'll really use it today in this particular pose, but let's get started. All right, so I'm gonna step back here on my mat. Since every pose is a continuation of mountain, I'll be referencing that. So mountain pose, we want excellent posture. We want everything stacked in a way that feels good, feels centered. I have an absolute bias, okay, just so like a gymnast, even though I was not one. Okay, I did ballet, so who knows why I do this. But I always have to remind myself that I need to bring my bottom ribs back. Okay, so for me right here, this is what feels pretty well stacked. I'm gonna root across my feet evenly with the toes all pointing forward, centering the ankles, knees, drawing the thigh bones into the hip joints, engaging, bringing everything up the center line. So really covered in detail on the mountain pose video. But now this is an extension. Okay, chair pose is an extension, a continuation of mountain pose. All right, so the first thing I do is send the seat back and then bend the knees. Okay, so I don't tuck my tail. All right, I just want to show you why. So I don't tuck my tail because when I come up, this is what I'm reaffirming. And I don't know if you can really see this, but it's jutting my thigh bones forward. I mean, I wouldn't want to walk around this way. It really congests the hip joints. It makes my abs engage, but not in a way that is effective for the lengthening of my posture. So what I really want, okay, is to enhance my strength that assists the ease of my hips and low back. So I don't want to congest that, but I want to strengthen my thighs and glutes so I can get stronger, okay? But also because in this pose, it's going to be, for me at least, feel a lot better. And for my students, once we get here, they feel it in a way that they get more length out of the spine. So let's do it again. So toes pointing forward, send your seat back, even exaggerate the tilt just for a moment. Don't pinch back here, don't be in pain, but feel this, because this allows the thigh bones to come into the hip joints. And then if you shift your weight back a little bit in the heels, root across the feet, my hope is that you feel an engagement at the base of the glutes. That is helping to secure this position. We want the inner thighs and the base of the glutes to partner together, okay, to keep these joints happy, the joints of the legs, as well as allow length coming up the spine. So reaching the arms, they can be directly out in front of you. If your shoulders feel tight, you could take your arms a little wider, okay? But the thighs will fatigue, but you need them to partner with the glutes, the inner thighs, okay? Not just have this be loaded on the front of the thighs. So rooting across the feet, engaging energy upward, engaging the base of the glutes, the pelvic floor up toward the belly button to between the shoulder blades, between the shoulder blades, the sternum to the throat to the base of the skull, to the crown of the head. And I really feel that this should be mainly muscularly a glute workout. The thighs are absolutely involved, but it should be mainly your glutes, okay? And then inhale and come all the way up, release, okay? So just exploring, how does your spine feel? Thighs and glutes, fatiguing, completely, I would say, expected. Heart rate maybe elevated, okay? And I didn't even explore much in the way of depth, okay? Just an intention, okay, and length. So another way to practice this, to start to really feel the engagement, is to place a block between your thighs. Depending on the thickness of your block, and this is not required, this is just something that might enhance your awareness. Okay, if the block is thin, then you might need it more this way. And I could go either way with this thickness. This might be, a little too wide, but you don't need it like this. I'll tell you that. No matter the thickness of your block, you don't need to be doing it this way. That would not be effective. Okay, so this way or this way, you want to feel that your joints feel free. Okay, if it's too narrow, you might feel uncomfortable at your knees, hips, somewhere like that. You don't want that. So just position it right for you, and then direct the toes to point forward. Soften the knees, okay, and shift your weight back a little bit. And then eyes open or closed. Root from the inner heel, okay, pressing it into the mat, down into the mat, out to the outer edge of each heel. And just notice how you feel your thighs squeezing the block. That usually makes the block shift back. Okay, so when we're engaging across the heels, it makes it shift back. Now add on, it's not instead of, add on, rooting across the balls of the feet. Okay, so from below the big toes out to the pinkies. And you might feel the block shift forward. Okay, so do that again. Focus on across your heels. Focus on the balls of the feet. All right, and don't tuck. Okay, just for now, just explore, not tuck, not doing this. Stick your bottom out, all right? Stick it out, back behind you, all right? It's all okay. Okay, belly forward, chest forward, everything that's vulnerable, right, is totally exposed. Okay, that's okay. All right, so root across again, the inner to outer heel. Add on from the root of your big toe out. So it's not the toes themselves, it's the balls of the feet. Okay, send your seat back, bending the knees, okay? Making sure, so you might have to adjust your feet, that you're still centered. Center hip, knee, ankle. You're not, like this. Okay, that wouldn't feel good. Don't do that. Okay, so have this position that it feels right. Seat back. That exaggeration in the tilt, I'm going to show you. Okay, it makes me think of Mama's Family, Carol Burnett. Okay, so just always think about that. I don't know why. Vicki Lawrence, you know when I was growing up. Okay, so send the seat back, bend the knees, and then again, root across the balls of the feet. Root across the heels, across the balls of the feet. It just helps in that order. And feel this. And then maybe bring your hands to your lower belly. Lengthen. Lengthening the low belly. Freeing up the low back, but not losing your neutral tilt. Potentially adding the arms. You don't have to, but lengthen the spine. And when I went on the downward facing dog video, okay, this just might be referenced, all right? This pose, if you can kind of see this as a bent knee, downward facing dog, okay, the lengthen the torso, lengthen the spine, and coming up, hopefully releasing to mountain, releasing the block, checking in with the work, okay? So we want to reaffirm a neutral tilt in the pelvis. A neutral tilt is a slight forward tilt. I exaggerate, okay? So I work on that. But we're not working on standing like this, okay? We're working on standing like this. So we want our muscles to engage, to strengthen, to tone, to be able to support the best posture possible. Okay, so just one more time, pretty passionate about this subject. If you're in chair pose with a tuck, all right, even here with a tuck, oh, let's see if I can. It's really hard to be lengthened with it. For me, I find this really hard to be lengthened if you're in a tuck. My shoulders and neck want to tense as well. Okay, right? So if we're trying to reaffirm this, it just makes sense to me that we would be keeping a slight forward tilt of the rim of the pelvis, encouraging those thigh bones to be in the hip joints and engaging, strengthening the muscles 360 degrees all around the thighs, the glutes, okay, the base of the glutes, okay, and that strength comes up and lengthens, okay? So chair pose. Utkatasana in Sanskrit, fierce. It's a fierce pose, all right? And it's absolutely effective at strengthening all these muscles that we absolutely need for functional health, in our life. We squat and we get up, okay? Hopefully without assistance, all right? So I hope this was helpful. I would look forward to hearing from you. Have a great day. Namaste.